Jason, how are you? Basically, what I need to know is like today the wicket was very different from yesterday. Obviously, the pitch was very different from yesterday. It
Yep.
looked so. And do you think that the batsmen were trying to carry on the same momentum or trying to play with the same approach on a very different wicket? Because staying there for a longer time may have, given you a better chance today and booked a place for the playoffs.
Oh, well, you'd have to ask them. But it's pretty clear that when you get bowled out for 80, you haven't adjusted or adapted to the conditions, the situation, or the opposition and their plans. We were poor tonight. There's no doubt about that. But we'll learn the lessons from that. Because we have to. Because if we want to go into our next challenge and win that game, we need to take the lessons from tonight, learn those, and go forward. Look, sitting here, it's pretty disappointing having to front the media with a loss like that, because that's a bad loss. There's no hiding from that. And the players are bitterly disappointed. They know that we didn't get it right. But what we do know as well is that we have played some good cricket in this tournament. There have been, we did win 4 on the bounce. So we know we can do it. We just need to, when we find ourselves in situations where the conditions are very different to what we last played on, we need to be able to adjust. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that tonight. And full credit to Islamabad, they played really well.
Yes, Naresh.
Hello, Jason. This is Nourish Khan. So,
Hello.
we saw that today, initially your batters were trying to hit the balls that were offering low bounce. We have seen that Usman Khan had come in this game scoring a century that was on a high bounce track. So do you think that you guys, failed to recalibrate the low release heights and the low bounce that Islamabad United bowlers were, attempting? And how do you, attempt to reset this muscle memory before the next game?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. We didn't adjust and adapt our games. The surface played as we expected, so it wasn't a surprise because we played on that surface before against Rawalpindi earlier in the tournament, so we knew what to expect. It probably kept it as low or a bit lower than probably everyone thought, but that's no excuse whatsoever. It wasn't a pitch to get bowled out for 80, no question. We just batted poorly, and we acknowledge that. We know we need to be better and adjust our game, adapt, and be better next time. Our batters will reflect on that, both individually and collectively as a group, when they get together to have a conversation, and they know that we missed a trick tonight. But look, full credit to Islamabad. They outplayed us, and you just take your medicine. But it's important that we park it and move on to the next challenge, which we've got a game on Sunday that we know we have to win to give ourselves a chance to progress to the next stage. So we'll, as I said, we'll take our medicine, and obviously we'll get over our disappointment, but then our focus will go into what's going to allow us to do well on Sunday.
Jason, how you rate the fast bowling abilities in overall PSL, because you had earlier the coach of Pakistan team.
Yep.
How you rate the fast bowling in PSL?
How do I rate the bowling in PSL, the fast bowling? Yeah, look, very highly. I think there's some wonderful bowlers in Pakistan. I said it at the time when I was here in my role as the red ball coach. There's a lot of wonderful cricketers here in Pakistan, not just bowlers, but just wonderful cricketers. I've been very impressed. There's been a number of seamers that have done really well in this tournament, hasn't there? So it's been great, and it's enjoyable to watch. Admittedly, it's a little bit more enjoyable when we win, I must admit, as head coach. But look, there is some very good, lot of talent here. Yeah.
Yes, Asif.
Jason, unfortunate day today, and in consistency has been a problem with Hyderabad team. And two of your key performers or key men, I would say Saim Ayub and Maxwell, they haven't been up to the standard. What is the reason, in your opinion, and how would you sum up all your campaign so far?
Oh, look, those guys probably haven't scored the runs they'd like. But they're doing all the right things. They're prepared really well, trained hard, been really specific in their preparation, how they want to go about it. They've been doing their research on the opposition bowlers. So they're ticking all those boxes. So as a coach, can't ask for any more. Sometimes players are not necessarily out of form. They just haven't got the runs behind them. But look, a bit like a lot of people were asking about Usman Khan earlier in the tournament and hadn't scored many runs, but we know what a quality player he is, and we knew at some point he would fire, and that happened last game and continued on. I thought he batted quite well tonight in a tricky situation with wickets falling around him, and look, the same with Simon, Glenn, two absolute quality players, and they're working hard, and I'm sure there's runs around the corner, and hopefully it's next game because we kind of need a win. Yeah.
Yeah. Zamit?
You talked about Saim Ayub, obviously.
Yep.
You have Sharjeel Khan on the bench. Do you think that maybe you guys could have rested him for a couple of games to just regain his rhythm? And meanwhile, Sharjeel Khan, who also played down the order, played exceptionally well. Do you think he could have been utilized in a more better way in place of Saim Ayub, and then shuffling both of them to take more out of them?
Yeah, I mean, look, selection's always interesting and everyone has their opinions. One of the games that Sharjeel came in, he was brought in as a tactical reason. We were playing Multan, they had 3 left-arm spinners, and we thought he could take them on, and he did that, and he did a wonderful job. And then tactically going against other teams, we look at what our best structure is for our batting lineup. So in that situation, we actually played an extra batter and forego an extra bowling option. So, and with Syme gives us bowling as well. Quite often he's bowling 3 to 4 overs every game. So he's a valuable player for us. And as we've touched on, yes, he hasn't quite fired with the bat, but we've got complete faith in Syme. He's a quality player, he's a great kid, and we know that there's a score around the corner, so we're excited about that. But look, we talk about all our players. We've got good depth in our squad, and we talk about all our players and is there a role for them? We've got to marry that up with local players coming in. We've got only 4 overseas spots for the overseas players, so you have to look at how you structure up from a batting and bowling perspective. So selection's not necessarily straightforward, but we certainly spend a lot of time discussing it and talking about the various options we have and against the opposition that we're coming up against. So we'll certainly have these discussions tomorrow to go into our next game and how we structure up from a batting and bowling perspective. So we'll see how we go.
Last question, please.
Always played a vital role in self-confidence. Do you think genuine spinners, your team is missing genuine spinners?
Well, I would argue that we do have genuine spinners. Hassan Khan has bowled beautifully this tournament. He didn't go to plan for him tonight. Very tough for bowlers when you're defending such a low total. I don't. Not going to go too far into our bowling effort tonight because we just got it wrong with the bat tonight. We saw it wasn't as bad a batting track as 80 runs because they scored 78 in their power play. So it can't have been that bad. We just batted poorly. So we own that. We accept that. But we're comfortable with our spinning options. We're very fortunate that we've got a number of our batters who actually bowl. So, we feel we've got plenty of options there.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good on you guys. Thanks.